Hello, good morning.
Hi.
Welcome to episode 19 of the Royal Bee Yarn Company's vlog. This is my wife, Kelly Corton.
Hi. This is my husband, Tony.
And we own our own yarn store here in Pacifica, California. We also have our own line of yarn.
We do have our own line of yarn. Once again, you are slick. Slick like oil. I tell you what isn't slick, though.
What's that?
Your glasses are really dirty.
Yeah, I know.
They're incredibly dirty.
Yeah.
Maybe take a moment while I tell people about our yarn to have a good clean up of your glasses. So we do this every week. So this is our yarn. This is the new woolen spun. I got a new batch in. I have purple if you, in DK, if you want to do, if you still haven't done your Empower People bandana, I have purple again. And this is the woolen spun. This is the same fleece as my worsted spun yarn, 18 micron merino. This is hand dyed in natural dyes. This is kettle dyed in natural dyes, and it's all made here in the U.S.
Homemade. That's very important.
So that's our yarn. And oh, your glasses look so much better.
I know, I cleaned them.
Yeah.
That's what I was doing down there below the shop. I was cleaning my glasses.
Honest.
I was honestly cleaning my glasses. Yeah, I can see things now.
Yeah. So Tony has this tendency to, like, I'm telling on him, but I do it. I'm publicly shaming him. I don't know how anybody can see through their glasses. And he just, like, I don't know.
It's because I just keep forgetting, because I'm not a glasses wearer, because I keep forgetting these are great. They have port and starboard on them. I like that.
Glamour Jane
came
in with pink versions of those, and I was like, where did you get them? And
so she got green and I got white. Sometimes I wear the white ones and the black ones. And you have to wear them all the time, because I used to wear, with readers, you put them on your head. And if you're a bald person like me, you know that your head can get a little greasy. So when I put the glasses up, it comes back and I forget. So
but
these
it's
glasses,
more that you can actually, like, you can function with, like, a haze of grease and smudges.
I can't.
Really impressed. Oh, you just suffer it.
I just suffer it. I put my glass on my head again.
But it takes very little effort to, like, clean them.
It does. Anyway, enough about my hygiene. What have you been up?
He's very hygienic. He's a very clean man.
I'm married to Kelly. I have to be. What have you been up to this week, huh?
Me? What have you been up to this week?
Okay.
You go first.
That backfired. I have been teaching kindergarten, and I finished on Wednesday and handed over to the new teacher, who's this delightful teacher who lives in Pasadena, which is, if you're overseas, that's a part of LA.
Overseas.
If you're overseas, that's people might not know where Pasadena is.
I think the only overseas viewers we have might be your mom.
Well, respect to my mom. Mom. Sorry. Oh my God, I'm becoming an American. I am an American. I got my citizenship. Anyway, this is exhausting already.
It's very stressful. Are you okay?
Yeah, so I'm no longer a teacher. I'm now back to my assistant principal type duties.
Even though he's not an assistant principal.
No, everything.
Not yet.
My principal said I'm assistant principal in everything but name.
And salary.
And salary
and credential.
Yeah.
But he's getting his credential and he's doing his distance learning.
Sorry,
got a little itch.
There, yeah.
You just satisfy that itch.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm helping teachers with their distance learning. I'm reaching out to families. The title is TOSA, Teacher on Special Assignment. I'm reaching out to families and helping them get connected and visiting kids at socially distanced altitudes and teaching them how to connect to their teachers. It's very satisfying.
Yeah, it is really. It's really making connections with the kids that need it the most.
Yeah, and school library opened today, this week.
Yeah.
So kids are coming in to check out real books, which is great because you see the kids.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough about me. What have you been doing? You've just been running the shop.
Yeah, I've been hanking. I've been using my new.
We look close. The blue screen is back up.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because they're painting. They're into the final painting. We are open.
Yeah, we're open.
Wednesday to Sunday, 11 to 6.
And so I've been using my new skein twister because I got my batch of yarn. Yeah, I've seen on you mean Instagram. And yeah, and I love it. It's like a toy. I don't know that it's necessarily faster than doing it by hand, but it's definitely making significantly more consistent hanks, which is great.
I get very excited when I look at it because it looks like a really exciting guitar tower.
Pretty cool.
I like the way it hangs your yarn. I also like the way it grabs onto your pocket when you walk next to it. That's a fun aspect of it.
I know I did put it in kind of like the most awkward place, but it's easy access for me, and it's making really lovely lovely hanks, so that's nice. And I'm doing like loads of labeling, and we did a couple of new kits and getting ready to do a couple more new kits, and just the regular old stuff with the shop, and then still participating in the Bay Area Fiber Fair that goes until I think it's like mid-October. So we had a winner, and so the kit that I put together for Where the Wave Meets shawl, which knit by Jules.
Is it called Where the Wave Meets the Shawl?
No, it's Where the Waves Meet, and it's a shawl.
Oh,
and
see, that would be fun.
It's the pattern and by knit by Jules, and then 2 of my yarn and 1 of Shop Dreamer at Dreams gorgeous shawl pins.
Yes, nice.
So it's a good kit, and then I think that's probably it.
Yeah, we got an interview to show you now.
Oh my gosh, we have the best interview.
Not the best, because we love all our interviews equally, like children.
We're so excited because we have Thao from Nerd Bird Makery, and I think the timing with the upcoming election is pertinent. Of course, you all know our views. We kind of wear them like a badge of honor, and Thao is doing so much incredibly incredible great work in order to help encourage people vote and all that good stuff.
Vote.
And she's selling products and donating all of the profits to really worthwhile ventures, causes. So
should we interview her now?
We should. Okay. Hi, Thao. Hi. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this on our tiny little video blog.
Oh, of course.
So, what are you making?
Huh?
What are you making?
I am, you know what, let me tell you, like during this pandemic, I feel like my knitting should have been improved just because we're all home, but it hasn't. But I feel like I'm trying. I mean, I started this sweater probably back in June, and I'm finally making good progress. Look at that. I know, just sleeves, and I'm just doing the ribbing here. It's called the Ami sweater by Camilla Vod. And I'm using a mohair and 1 strand of mohair and 1 strand of fingering weight. So yeah, I'm gonna try to get it done at least by Rhinebeck so I can wear it because I'll be home.
Yeah.
Pretending I'm at Rhinebeck.
Yeah. Well, I should introduce you. So this is Thao, who is Nerd Bird Makery, and I am an enormous fan of everything that you make. And I think just about everybody else in the knitting and crocheting community and the fiber community is too. I think your designs are totally next level, and I was so excited when you did your little custom pin for the Royal Bee. So
you're gonna have to show it because I get like 1 or 2 in case there's a mistake.
Oh, well,
not this time. So I was gonna ask you. Well, you'll have to flash it up at some point.
Okay.
I think it's so cute.
It's
so I love the crown. That
was all you.
Okay, cool.
So tell us a little bit about your journey to becoming a designer.
So, okay, there's a bit of a long story, so you may have to edit. But so I learned how to knit in 2008 when I moved to Portland, and there's a whole story about how I ended up in Portland. But so I've been knitting since 2008, so it's been about 12 years now. And in 2017, I was sitting in India. At the time my son was 3, is it right? 24. Yeah, he was 3. And Trump just had won the election, and we were on vacation meeting my husband's family, who's Indian. And so his grandfather, so that would be my son's great grandfather still alive. So we're all there, and I'm sitting there and I'm a bit disconnected from the news, but I'm kind of just checking the internet and seeing what's going on. And I see that they have this Muslim ban, and I'm so devastated. I'm sitting here, where I'm a refugee. My husband, obviously an immigrant, we're sitting in his native country, and I'm just so like heartbroken that all of this is happening. And this is literally the beginning of his 4-year term. And I was like, this is just awful. So and at that time, I belonged to a mom group locally, and there was a mom that was looking for some work because she starting to get back into to her design practice after having a kid. So I said, you know what? Why don't I had the vision actually for this tote that I'm actually using? Can you help me design something like this? Oh, you have your tote! Yay! I actually love this tote, so I'm actually using it for my project. And so I was like, this is kind of what I want. Will you help me put it together? And so she did. And so, and that's how it kind of started in 2017. And so originally, I said, let's do this. She made the design. I found a screen printer locally. She printed shirts for me. And I did I didn't have a website. I just had an Instagram account. And I was like, if you would like a t-shirt, 100% of the money will go to, I think at the time I did ACLU. And then I did World Relief, and I'll tell you why I did that. But so I said, if you want to buy a t-shirt, DM me and I'll put you on the list. And so I literally sold shirts out of my virtual trunk at the beginning of this. So I did that for a while. I think the first year we donated about like $2,500, and it was kind of amazing. So I did a second run, and then I didn't think about it for a while. And then what happened was that same year in October, I had gone to listen to this author. His name is Ta-Nehisi Coates. Have you heard of him? Mm-hmm. He's amazing. I feel like he's one of our modern day like intellectuals. And anyway, so he was promoting his book at the time called We Were 8 Years in Power, and it was about the 8 years that Obama was in office. And one of the things he said was, a question that I often get is from white people is, what can I do to help? Like, I believe you, I'm bought in, but what can I do? And he goes, well, I could tell you to move to a red state to help campaign, but you're not going to do that. But you can always start with where you are. And that just really resonated with me, because I was thinking at the time, like, I am immersed in the knitting community. I've been in it for a while. I had a little bit of a following, but nothing big. And at that time, Ravelry was really big and was very active. And like, this is it. This is where I can make an impact. And then I started thinking about like representation and images and what was out there for the knitting community. And there wasn't a lot, and and as you know, like that conversation didn't happen until like 2019. Mm-hmm. So the timing worked out. The timing wasn't great initially. So the next year, so it was November. So at the 2018, I'm gonna go full force. I'm gonna invest some money and see where it goes. My husband was very supportive. He said, if no one buys your products, at least you have some great artwork. So good. And so that lessened the pressure. And I will tell you, by the end of that year, we were kind of just getting along. The sales weren't really like popping yet. And so I was like, what am I doing? And we're like, well, let's just give it a good, the old college try, because at the point we were thinking maybe there wasn't a market for this stuff, right? Because the images were people of color, maybe the knitting community didn't have a large enough space for merchandise like this, right? Or maybe people didn't buy it because they didn't look like them. And so we were like, okay, let's just try to the end of the year. At the time I was working a corporate job, so I'm like, if not, I'll just do what I'm doing, which I liked anyway. 2019, we had that huge conversation, and then all of a sudden, I think people were discovering, like, finding me on Instagram, and then that's how it all like came about, and so we've been doing okay, and then with the pandemic hitting, things are a little bit slower, but again, we're going to ride it out and see what happens. And I appreciate the fact that my husband has a job that affords us insurance. so we can ride it out a little bit, the same, right? That's so important. I mean, so
Yeah.
yeah, so
But
here we are.
you know what? So much of that I didn't know. Like
Oh,
I didn't
really?
know. Yeah, because we met in 2000 and set
17. Wait, no, 2018 actually. Yes, in Vogue.
at Vogue.
Yes. Yes.
And I took a bunch of your pins.
Yes.
I didn't realize that was I was brand new then. So we
Yes.
kind of like our paths all kind of started at the same time. I didn't realize that. I thought you were way more established.
No. Oh, can I give a quick shout out now that you mentioned that? Lady Di
Yes.
Yarns. So Diane has
Yeah.
been amazing because she was someone that, I don't even know how we connected, but so at Vogue, she had a space and she contacted me and she goes, "Hey, do you want to vend with me?" And so that helped me like get out there and do shows. So shout out to her.
Yeah, and I have her beautiful yarn in my shop.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah. In fact, I started carrying her yarn at that show.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
That was she. We were all like, oh, was this good? Was it? She was like, I don't know, and I was like, I don't know, because it was my very first time.
Right,
And
right.
and I don't know whether she was wholesaling to other people, but it was like, yeah, we'll do this. It's cheaper for me to wholesale it to you than it is to like ship it back.
Ship it back. Right, 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 right. Yeah.
So that's I've known you guys since,
I
but
know.
yeah. And
That's
I
so
love
awesome.
everything that she's doing in terms of both of you,
Amazing.
in terms
Yeah.
of craftivism, in
Mhm.
terms of encouraging people to get out there and vote, and to make change, and to have the difficult conversations, and to, fix this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been a lovely partner and collaborator. And I think she's someone that I really appreciate because, with Instagram. So just side note, like I don't have a newsletter because I don't know how to work technology, even though I worked at a technology company for like 12 years. But she's been so lovely because I think a lot of how people find me is through Instagram, and she'll be really great about like signal boosting products, especially if they're for fundraisers. And so I just really appreciate that. And she's always so good about calling and saying, "Hey, I have this thing coming up. Do you want to participate?" So, I mean, she truly is inclusive, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, she is. And also, which I also appreciate about you, is she's so incredibly intelligent. And I guess really what it ultimately boils down to is that I really share her same values and her same views on things, which you can't always say about everybody.
Right.
But actually, she's really incredibly thoughtful and truly inclusive. And
Yeah.
she's a good soul. So,
So I have a question for you. I mean, do you feel like sometimes I feel like I have a hard time, if I'm being totally transparent, approaching like local yarn shops because I know that my stuff is not for everyone, only because some of it is very whimsical and very cute. And so people love that. But then there's products that I have that are more like, you know, uh, political leaning, right? Or that I actually have a point of view on things that are going on. And so I'm always afraid to approach local yarn shops because you don't know. Like, and sometimes I actually like to remain ignorant because I'm like, I don't need to know if, like this is like offensive. So I mean, do you ever, I mean, when you make statements or you know what I mean? Or like your political beliefs, like, do you ever feel like you have to hide that? Given that you're a yarn shop owner and you rely on business, right?
I do, but
Yeah.
not business at any cost.
Right.
And so I made the decision very early on that I was going to stand for what I believed in, and that the crafting community has always been a place of activism in some way, shape, or form. And that if I was going to be hated, I was going to be hated for what I believed in, not what I don't believe in.
Yeah.
And I don't, I don't need we don't need money at that cost, right? Which is, selling your soul.
Hang on, Tony, what grade do you teach?
I'm an assistant principal at a elementary school.
But not really an assistant principal. He's a teacher on special assignment.
Yeah, I do all those jobs, but I don't get the pay.
Yeah.
Well, what grades have you taught? I only asked because I used to be a kindergarten teacher.
Oh, right. I've done kindergarten, fourth and fifth, and second.
Don't you feel like kindergarten's the hardest?
I did it distance learning, so yeah, everything's
distance learning kindergarten, bless your heart.
Yeah.
I feel like kindergarten is like
I have
the
new
SAS.
respect for kindergarten. Yeah, it's
no.
array of teaching.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So what do you usually, I think you answered it a little bit in terms of how you draw your inspiration. But, I'm not sure if I actually finished answering your question. Basically, I just put it all out there. And if people choose to hate me, that's fine. And if they don't want to come to the shop because they, know my political views, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So, just take it.
I feel like for me, sometimes it's hard because it's actually my vision coming out. And so when people reject it, it's almost like, oh, are you rejecting it because you don't love it? Or because if it's your viewpoint, then I don't really care. But if it's something, you know what I mean? It feels like personal, even though I work very hard to make sure I understand that it's not. So.
Yeah, I get that with my yarn too.
Right? Oh, yeah, because you dye yarn and stuff. That's right.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so we know that the original, I think we kind of got like how you draw your inspiration, but do you have some stuff that you want to show off?
I do. Actually, I wanted to answer your question because I saw the list and I was like, okay, some of those I had things to say, but for that one, I was going to say, like, in terms of inspiration, it's so funny. I find it all around me. So the other day I was walking through Adidas because like they're headquartered here. And I saw this shirt. I'm like, that is a really cool font. And then, I think about like, ooh, what can I do? What's the play on words that I could use, right? So I find it all around me. So I'm always taking photos of things, or I love puns. So whenever I find something, I'm like, how do I make that pun related to knitting or to crafting in general? And so that's how I things start out. Can I show you? Yeah, I can show you some products. But the one thing that I'm super proud of, and Trish Richmond, who helped me with this.
I know Trish very well. I'm her LYS.
Yes. Okay. So I just got this fancy camera. So I'm going to share my screen and see if it works.
Oh, I'm not sure if you can.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
I can change the settings so that you can.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
sure.
Do it because I totally want to see.
Okay.
There you go. You can.
Okay, now you can share.
Okay. I just did the Patty Lyons retreat, and she hooked us onto these video cameras that you can plug in so you can show products. So I'm like, that is a good idea. So I bought one of those. So let's see if I can share.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I want that too.
Yeah, I'll show you what it looks like after. Okay, so see that? See how cool is that?
Oh wow!
Okay, yes. Okay, so I want to tell you the story about these postcards. So I have these are the newest products that I have in my shop, and I have some T-shirts, which I'll talk about later. But so Trish Richmond, who is Carpe Yarn on Instagram, reached out to me. We've known each other for a while. We met through Cecilia, Creative Ceci.
Oh yeah.
And so she called me because she really wanted. She obviously, like all of us, she was very concerned about the election, and she came up with this idea for a Mamalas for Kamala. She goes, what if I made a bumper sticker and, maybe we could use your platform because you have, more of a platform on Instagram and you have a website for selling. And so I talked to her, we talked through this idea and I said, I think bumper stickers are okay. I love the concept, but two things. I said, number one, I feel like the return on investment for bumper stickers would be low. So if we're really trying to donate money, we need a way where we could donate money without having like so many purchases, because it's really hard, right? And so the other thing we said was, what if people didn't identify with this because they're not moms, right? Because you have that angle too. And personally, I told her, and I can tell you now, which is I feel like activism shouldn't be tied to an identity, because I could be for Kamala, but it's not because I'm a mom, just because I feel like Kamala represents things that are important for people that are beyond moms. So anyway, so we came up with this idea and I said, well, what if we did postcards? What if we did more than just one design? So But I love the idea for this and the inspiration for this design. And she made 2 different color patterns. Don't you love that one? Was
I love it.
Kamala is biracial, as we know. She's half Indian, and so we want to recognize that part of her identity. So when we designed this, we wanted to show, like like bindi kind of henna design. So this is how this design originated. And then I said, well, I think Black Lives Matter. It's important to both of us, and it's always evergreen. Like I think, you can always send postcards with this, and I think it would resonate. So we did these 2, and I love this one so much because it's a good reminder. Sure, you can, on social media, you can black out your screen, you can talk about how important Black Lives Matter is, but at the end of the day, are you voting for the right people to actually advocate for policies that impact Black communities, right? So I love that message. It's simple, it's clean, the design is clean, and I just think it's so important. And then finally, oh my gosh, I'm gonna try not to get choked up.
Aw.
I
I know.
okay, so so after she had the Kamala Mom List for Kamala, I'm like, okay, so what else could we do? And I'm like, well, what if we did something with Ruth? Because Trish has always been big a Ruth supporter, and we talked before about doing something with Ruth Bader Ginsburg's image, and I said, well, why don't we make something like this with the word truth? And she designed it, and I loved it. And you heard the news, right? We were
Yes.
devastated. Like, it's just so upsetting. So
That's good.
so now I feel like this design is just so much more meaningful to us, especially what's happening now, right? So so these are our designs, and we sell them in a package. I'm gonna switch you back to me. Hang on a second.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay,
You're
so
back.
these are designs. Yes, we're back, and so it's a 6 postcards, and we're selling them for $10. And I have to say, shout out to Trish. She designed all of these cards. In addition, she fronted the cost of printing, which means that when you buy this package of cards, like all of the $10 goes to the Biden-Harris campaign. And I think it's just a way for us to channel our anxiety and our nervousness, and to do something productive. So we have these. And then can I show you the other thing I have, which I'm proud of? I would have worn it today, but I wore it the last time I did a call, and I didn't want to put on merchandise that I was going to sell because that's just gross. So here's.
Oh, I'm such a shameless promoter. I'm like wearing my T-shirt, like.
Well, no, I would have worn mine, but mine is in the wash, and so I can't pull a new one because then So here's the shirt that I designed. Can you?
So
So,
good.
so here I'm gonna get closer. So she's crocheting, and she's knitting. Isn't that cool?
So
And
awesome.
for these shirts, 100%. That's not true. 100% of the profit goes to 2 organizations that. Hang on one second. My yarn's getting all tangled up here.
Okay. Yarn emergency.
Just wait a second. Okay, here you go. I was like, my yarn can't touch the floor. So 100% of the profit of that T-shirt design has been donated to Spread the Vote, which is an organization that helps folks get IDs, because that's actually a way to fight voter suppression, right? So if you have a reason not to have an ID, like that's automatically disqualifies you from voting. So this organization helps people, especially people who have been incarcerated or people who don't have IDs, to help them go through that process. The second organization we donated to is called Black Voters Matter. And what they do is advocate for policies that benefit Black communities. And if there's someone, that wants to run for an office, they help them establish the organizational and the infrastructure to go, and the network to go and be able to do that. So I think we raised about $13,000 so far. So
Amazing.
Wow.
That is just awesome.
Yeah, and then so with these, we just Trish and I just donated 1,600, and then we just today we're going to donate another 500. So that's about $2,100. We have more cards, and I mean, we just want to be able to. And the reason why we're doing it in chunks is we're like, as much as we can, we want to donate so they can use it from now until the election.
Yeah.
So yeah. What does that mean for me? That means I haven't earned any income for the last couple of months, but I'm like, that's okay. And again, I think it's having the means to not have to worry about that. But it's really what I believe in. And I feel like, I can't talk about other people's experience, but I feel like if you're going to be out there on social media saying Black Lives Matter, and I feel like you got to put your money where your mouth is, right? And so I'm like, so you have to be honest. Like I tell him, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? He goes, you know what? That's fine. We can do that. So having that support is great to be able to do something like this.
Yeah, it can be small ways, it can be big ways, and you know, and um, the most important way, if people don't have the means, is just get out there and vote locally, like really understand your local politics, because a lot of, I certainly didn't understand that there were like 18,000 municipalities that run our police force, and just having that understanding of your local politics as well as the national politics
Right.
is really
Yes.
important.
Here's a good organization.
Course, but sorry.
Oh no, here's a good organization that I've donated to in the past, which is called Run for Something. And it's the woman who started it was someone that worked in the Hillary campaign. But what I love about that organization is it helps people who are not typically politicians run for office, and it helps them navigate the process, especially if you're a younger person that wants to run. It gets you like the organization, the infrastructure in the same way that the other organization does. And I love that because it focuses on down ballot. Because if you want to make sure you have an impact, you have to vote the whole way down and not just in the larger election. So that you're absolutely right.
Well, in addition to the voting and activism and phenomenal work that you're doing, which I so appreciate, you also have an awful lot of cute stuff too.
I do. Can I show you?
And I love all of it. And,
you.
and the whimsy of, like, you have like that little social distancing squirrel pin. Yeah, that's the one I need to order.
Oh yeah, I love this pin. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, there's this one and the cat. So let me just tell you a quick story about that real quick, which is I love squirrels and mushrooms, but people who knit like love cats. And so I had to do both versions because I feel like they're both important. And as a knitter, I am a social distancing expert, but not when I'm forced to do it like now when we're in a pandemic, but when we're not, I'm like, I'd rather stay home. So yeah, shout out to that.
I think you've talked a little bit, but I'd love to know a little bit more about where you grew up, your kind of story and your journey.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Stockton, so not too far from you. I grew up in Stockton, and then I went to college at UCLA, and then after that I moved to Texas, where I did Teach for America, and that's where I taught kindergarten. Did that for 5 years, and then from there I got my MBA, so I stayed there for a total of 7 years, and then I've been in Portland ever since. So before all, huh?
Sorry, I was going to ask, did you always want to be a designer when you were a kid, or was that?
So, no, I didn't at all. Like, I feel like I fell into this. And so I can explain my process for design a little bit in a second. But so I don't know, actually I take that back. Not that I didn't want to be a designer. I've always loved words, and I love puns, and I love play on words, and I love, images and design. I didn't go to school for that. And so, yeah, actually, and so now I think, so I've always done something creative in that way, but never as a business. And so when I did this and it resonated, I'm like, oh, I mean, this could be, you could do this, like for a living, or, like halftime or whatever. But yeah. So, and then, so in terms of my design process, I actually, I consider myself like the creative director. So I actually hire folks, and I really try to hire, like with this one's a collaboration that Trish came to me with, but usually I'll come up with a concept, and then I'll try to find designers that actually put the stuff together, using my vision. And then we work together to get it exactly the way they want it. And then I'll have it produced. And I usually try to work with women of color, BIPOC, or local people as possible, so that I, spread business around.
Actually, Trish did my logo for me.
Yes, I knew that. Yes. Yeah. You got that really cute bag with the leather strap.
Oh yeah, Trish designed that for me too.
So cute.
Yeah.
Yay.
Okay, so if you had to eat one food over and over and over again, what would it be?
I really thought about this. I'm like, okay, well, are we talking about a meal or a thing? And I would say mangoes. Like, I feel like I can eat mangoes for a while and not like be tired of them. But if it were a meal, breakfast. I feel like I love breakfast foods, and I feel right. You cannot get tired of breakfast foods.
Yes.
So
Yes. I totally agree.
That's
with that.
Tony's absolute
Kelly's not a
favorite.
breakfast
I don't
fan.
care.
yes,
It's funny. I don't really care about food
Oh.
from morning until dinner.
Oh my God.
really.
I have to force myself to eat
Oh
just
my God.
first.
I wish I had your problem.
It doesn't resonate in terms of my body shape, but and
Mhm.
it's also like it's not healthy. Like it's so much better if you're like, heavy on breakfast and then,
Yeah,
but
you do it backwards.
I just like food. Like I love like good food. We spend a lot of time, a lot of our income, like checking out the new restaurants. And even I have to tell you, even during this pandemic, there are new restaurants popping up all over Portland, and they're amazing. And so we're trying to do our part to go and support them.
We
And
like
also-
Portland. I like Portland.
Have
Okay.
you guys been?
Yeah, we the most extravagant thing we ever did was fly to Portland, because we wanted to see the Decemberists, and they were only playing in Portland, and they did this outdoor show, and they did one of their albums, and we said let's just fly up for the weekend. It was when Kelly was working in tech, and we had money to burn.
Yeah.
But we just flew up for a gig. That was great. The great band, and then came back.
Now I'm rich and yarn.
Yeah, Richard and people.
Stay home and knit. That's what you can do.
And people.
Yes, it's true.
What's the last piece of music you listened to?
Listen, I have no shame. I love Taylor Swift, and her new album was amazing. Okay, I don't care what anyone says. She was a teeny bopper, but she has grown and evolved.
She's growing and evolving.
I love Taylor Swift.
Okay, well, I love all her stuff, but her new album is so good.
I was listening to it. What's it called again?
I don't know.
What's it called?
Folklore.
Folklore. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I was listening to it. Yeah, she's growing. She's growing up.
Her lyrics are
I think
amazing.
it was good as well.
Yeah.
You seen the documentary on her?
Miss America.
Yes, more than one time. It was really good. It was really great. I think I like documentaries because it gives people depth. I think that there were things that she didn't talk about, but I feel like if you producer or you are in collaboration, then obviously you want to present your best self. But I thought it was great. It talked about her political journey or her finding her voice, which was interesting, and just talking about her insecurities as someone who's so famous. She's kind of just like us.
What's your favorite color?
Okay, I have always been like a mustard person, but lately I have been really into this color. What would you call this color?
Like sea glass.
Boom. I actually think that's what the yarn's called, sea glass, which is like kind of teal but more green leaning.
Yeah.
I love this. This is my new fave. So, but I think I'll go back to mustard with fall. I feel like the colors change with the seasons, or my favorite does.
I'm a pink all the way, but I've been cheating on pink with yellows recently.
It's the season, I think.
Yeah, and there has been so much and I feel like yellow is such a sunny color. So I think that I've been kind of like gravitating toward sunny, happy colors in order to, especially with how are you with the fires? Are you okay?
We're in Portland, so we're totally fine, but our air was awful. It was hazardous for a while, but now we're back to the air quality index is below 50, so it's like 8. And I'm like, I'm never taking fresh air for granted ever again, right? So
yeah, it's really true.
Because ours was in the hundreds, and we were like, oh my goodness,
well,
this is
got
terrible.
up to 200.
And then you guys were up in the 400s.
Yeah.
I mean, we were inside the whole time.
Scary.
Okay.
What's your most annoying habit?
I don't know. Skip. I'm sure I have one. I probably spending a lot of money on yarn. If you ask my husband, that's what he'll say.
That's a great habit.
And
who taught you to knit or crochet, or did you teach yourself?
Okay, wait. How much time do we have?
As much time as we want. People are going to be
okay. So I will tell you my story. So you see what had happened was after teaching, I had gone back to business school and I was married at the time. Then I got divorced and then my life was in shambles. Okay. I lived in this complex that looked like a Melrose Place complex with the courtyard, and my neighbor worked in a restaurant, and then my other neighbor owned a dance studio, and it was just a hodgepodge of characters. And so my neighbor that worked in the restaurant industry, he was like, he'd bring home bottles of wine. I mean, he had access to other recreational drugs. And so it was just a mess. Okay. And so I just was involved in just very not healthy behavior. And so, and then this is my second year of business school. And then I also needed to find a job. So then I got an interview at Intel. And I was like, okay, I need to get my life together because like, I just can't do this. So I get the interview and I'm like, okay, I feel like this is the break, I'm going to go. And then so during the interview, they asked me questions like, tell me of a time when you've had a 5-year plan and what did you do to make it happen? And I'm like, I don't have 5-year plans. I'm here like snorting cocaine. Not anymore, y'all. I'm clean. It was a long time ago, but that was part of my history. I'm in my interview. He's asking me this question. I'm like, this interview is going terribly. Like, I'm not going to get this job. So I'm just going to go down. I'm going to go down with a bang. So I'm like, I don't have a 5-year plan, but I know that I'm looking for a man and he lives in the Northwest. And I just need to be here so I can be found. I said this in an interview and I was like, I'm not gonna get the job anyway, so who cares? He'll have a good story to go tell the recruiters. He goes, actually, I met my wife at Intel. I knew I got the job after I was like, oh, I got this. And so then, you know, I get a call, they give me an offer, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll take the offer. And then they said, you gotta do a drug test. I was like, oh my God, see, like the world is just trying to tell me something. And so luckily I passed, all good. I don't anymore, so I can tell the story, but I actually told it when I worked there as well. So I moved to Portland. I was like, okay, I have to do something wholesome because I cannot lose this job. Like I cannot go to jail. I have rent to pay. And so I was like, I'm gonna take up knitting because no one ever went to jail for knitting. And so when I moved to Portland, I walked down to the local yarn store and I bought some yarn and I found a little meetup group that knit. And that's how I started knitting.
Wow. That is the best story I've ever heard.
Really, that is the story. And that's how I got started knitting. And so now when I tell people like, so my sister-in-law, she was my brother's girlfriend at the time. She, you know, I told her that story. She goes, I can't imagine you doing that now because I just sit and knit, you know? And, but yeah, that's how I came to knitting. I got to stay out of trouble. Like, I don't know anyone who got in trouble for knitting, so that's what I'm going to do.
I think nobody else, we may need to drop the question. Like nobody else is going to be able to
No.
like, you've just like set the bar, which I don't think
I'm afraid to ask this one.
Let me tell you. Okay, I gotta tell you one more story. Okay, so this is
we
awful.
have time.
So my husband is Indian, and so we live here. He's a citizen here, and his family, his sisters, live in Canada. So when we met, we were a few months into our meeting. We were gonna go up to Canada to hang out with his sister. Okay, I couldn't find my passport. And at the time, you needed they weren't really like strict, but you needed a passport. I didn't have one. I was like, oh my God, this is awful. So, but I have my knitting. So, and I had an expired passport. So I go through Canada, no problem. Coming back to Canada, right? I'm sitting there in the passenger side knitting. The guy goes, your passport is expired. I'm like, I know, but obviously I have one, right? And I'm knitting and he just let me go through. And my husband's like, you know what? They stop me every single time I go through the border, but look at you. And I think it was because of my knitting.
Yep.
Knitting. Wow. Knitting, the new passport. The last question. I'm afraid to ask this question. Do you have a clean joke?
You know what? Actually, I thought about this. I'm not really a joke person, but I do. Oh, here, I'll share.
Oh.
I'm not a joke person, but I do love a good meme. Because I remember I like play on words, and I saved it here. So now I have to find it. Give me 1 second. It's worth it. Okay. So I found this on, and I'll read. So this is someone's senior picture. Okay. And this resonated with me. I really felt it. When I die, I want the people I did group projects with to lower me into the ground so they can let me down one last time. I felt that. I really felt it with my soul. So that's better than a joke, Tony.
And on that
That's really
note,
good.
oh my goodness. That was
Oh my
excellent.
gosh, Tao, you have been so delightful to talk to. And thank you for doing everything that you're doing to, to help make change and get us on a good path. And thank you for your. He's still going.
You know what? Because you know it's true. That's why. And you know what's going to happen with the
Yeah,
election too.
yeah.
Like, I know I'm going to do my part, right? But we need everybody else to do their little part so we don't fail this project like we did in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
And I can't wait to see you in person. And I think Portland is probably one. We have a bunch of different places that we're like, we're going to go to Wild Hollow Farm. But I think in terms of a little trip, Portland will be the first because my niece is there doing physician's assistant school. And because I became a little friendly with the Starlight Knitting Society.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They're so cute. When at the last event, they were like opposite me. At Stitches, he's still going. He's still laughing at that. You got him.
You know what? I'm gonna send that to you just for you.
Yeah, thanks. I want that on a bag, on a tote, please.
Yeah, that would be a good tote.
So fun. You have to share it before we go. You have to share the pin.
Oh yeah.
I just don't have any copies, or I would post it.
A couple.
I need to,
It's the cutest thing in the world.
I think that's so cute.
Yeah.
Designed
it for me. The whole thing.
And I miss that purple couch.
And then I have
green now.
Let's see what I've got on here. Oh, I have it on my back.
Oh, cute. I was going to tell you, like, the drive to Portland is not bad. We were actually down near you. We were at Pacific, and I was going to swing by, but I think you guys had some renovation work done outside your building or something.
Yeah, we're still open, but a lot of people think we're not because you can't
maybe
signage and it's a wreck.
No, I think we came because Trish, because I went to Pacifica to visit Trish, and you guys weren't open. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go and just take a photo on the outside. But she goes, they're doing work, so.
Well, if you ever are coming again, you can stay with us. We would love to have you and host you. And oh my gosh, when all of this is over, let's do a trunk show.
We should totally do it. Oh, by the way, if you come here, we have an apartment our house. We have a 2-bedroom apartment. Like, you're welcome to stay here. Like, all of my friends take advantage of it, and you're welcome to.
We're definitely doing that.
We're in.
Excellent.
Yeah, we should totally do a trunk show. I'll probably we drove down to California because my brother and my sister-in-law and my little nephew live there. So we did the drive. It wasn't bad at all. So I feel like we'll probably do it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
We've done it.
Yeah, we've done it. And we loved it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
You too. Bye.
Bye. That was so interesting. That was a long interview, but it was so interesting.
It's so worthwhile. And
I can't wait to visit her apartment in Portland.
I know.
It's going to happen.
Totally.
She thinks it isn't. It's going to happen.
We're going to totally show up.
Totally.
It's going to happen. So, yeah, she's an amazing person.
I like her art aesthetic.
Yeah, she has a phenomenal aesthetic and just, and I love it when people use their creativity for good.
I meant to ask her about the painting behind her head. I wonder if she did that. I like that. That's what I like. Anyway, that was our interview.
Yeah, that was our interview.
Who interviewing next week? Do we know yet?
Don't know yet.
Oh.
I haven't talked to anybody yet. I'll have to ask.
I'll grab somewhere outside.
I'm running out of people that I know.
Yeah.
We may have to begin to reach out to people I don't know. That would be scary.
Yeah.
Could you imagine interviewing somebody we didn't know? Well, I mean, you didn't know Thao. I mean, you'd probably met her at Stitches or whatever, but I've met her several times. So, yeah.
I feel like I know them. I feel like when I meet them, I can talk to them now.
I know they're good people.
I know Tristan and
you know Tristan,
and Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And Kelly a little bit. I met Kelly a couple of times, several times.
Yeah.
But some of these people are new.
New to you.
New people.
Yeah, they're not
interesting,
new to me, but
creative people.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's the end of our show.
No. I was gonna show some yarn.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and I have it right here.
Oh, this pile
you
here.
haven't done any squishing.
I did one
So,
squish.
I guess, of our own yarn. But
Okay, let's
what
do
I
some
was going to
squishing.
do is, this is where we do our little segment where we show you or showcase, some of the yarn that we have in the shop. And
Do you want
this,
to do the theme tune?
oh no, do. I don't know.
Yarn stuff. Do, do.
Okay. Is that the new
Yeah,
theme?
that'll do.
Okay, now you're going to have to do that all the time. Will you remember it?
Yarn stuff. Do, do, do.
So this is Riley by Haiku. And this is, I tend to be a little bit fickle in so much as I will change out the various different yarn brands.
Soft.
It's so soft. I change out the yarn brands that I have in the shop quite a lot because people get bored. They want something new and different. But this I've had since the very for 3 years, and
this is one of the first brands of yarn.
Yes,
when I was learning
it
all
is.
about yarn and building the massive encyclopedia of yarn, which is now in my head, which takes out about that much next to eggs and breakfast. It's Riley. I remember seeing this and thinking, wow, this is not what I was expecting.
Isn't it beautiful? So this is a mulberry silk,
It's
alpaca,
very soft.
and linen blend.
And it's alpaca,
And it
which is an animal.
It is an animal. And
Are we
here,
reading the colours?
well, I think they just are color numbers, so maybe
No,
just,
this is sea glass,
Oh, okay.
which was a colour mentioned
Show
in our
the
interview.
show the pretty side. Do you remember?
I can't remember. Oh, there's the pretty side.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Sea glass.
Okay.
We got. Oh, this is. I
Yeah.
bet this is dusky ballet slip. No, this is. This is. Keep on talking. Lots.
Oh, okay. I'll fill
It doesn't
in.
have a color.
So
Doesn't have a color.
this-
Broken
So
arrow. Broken
it-
arrow.
It's okay. You can just show the various different colors because they're really pretty. This they actually do like a hand painted, but the reason why this is just a little swatch that I have in the shop. Kind of the reason why I wanted to bring this out is 'cause look at that drape. Look at that drape.
That's
It
a
is
nice drape.
so drapey.
I'm learning all about drapes.
And this is a DK weight
Oh,
yarn.
yeah. The price tag is over the color. On it.
Oh, that's okay.
That's okay.
Just hold it up so people
Kelp.
can see.
Kelp. That is a very kelpy
It
color.
is a very kelpy color. Isn't that pretty?
This one is.
Don't worry about it. Just show.
I know. Yeah. It's the labels are all slightly different. So
Yeah.
that's that color.
It's not pretty.
Squish. And there's this color.
Yeah,
which
which
is
is
like
natural.
oatmeal.
Yeah, a little oatmeal-y.
Yeah.
And then
this is
kind of like a little-
blueberry
Blueberry. I would say that's more of a denim-y.
denim.
Yeah, like kind of a.
It's called periwinkle.
Oh, there you go.
And this one is called. Oh, they all have different labels.
That's okay.
Sorry, I'm over it. That one's a nice kind of
Taupey
brown
oatmeal.
taupey oatmeal. This is
Isn't
a
that
lovely
pretty?
pink that Kelly likes pink.
I would say that's more of like a salmon. To me,
Yeah, with
Yeah.
no color on it.
That's
Oh, it's
okay.
got a color. It's called.
it's okay, Tony.
I really need to know. Guava.
Guava. It is a guava color, but it's such a lovely yarn. So just wanted to showcase that for people. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
Riley by Haiku.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's.
And again, for 3 years, I've carried the yarn, and I'm going to keep carrying it. It's just one of those things that it looks beautiful. It feels beautiful. The ratio of the silk to linen to alpaca is such that it's eminently wearable and very comfortable. And that's not always the case. Sometimes, there's so much alpaca that you actually get
You do the
really,
ratio,
really hot.
It's
So-
1 linen to 1 mulberry silk to 2 baby alpaca. 1 to 1 to 2.
Yeah, it's really comfy. I love it. And it's a DK weight. So, I
Lovely
think
drape.
a lovely drape.
A lovely drape.
Now, are there any yarns right there that are speaking to you? Like, are you getting, because,
Do
the
you know
last,
what? Yeah,
tell
I know.
me.
I tell you what. If I had to choose one of these lovely colors,
Yeah? He just automatically dismissed the guava and the kind of like
well, I think I like the kelp
the kelp.
because it's a fun word to say, kelp. And we get it washed up on our beaches, and it's kind of an alien-looking plant, but that's that looks like kelp when you see it from underwater because of all the scuba diving I do.
You are a piece of work today.
I know, I've had a lot of coffee. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's the end of our show.
that is the end
That's
of our show.
Next week is number 20, and we'll be
20.
we'll be interviewing.
Who knows?
Insert name here.
Because we don't plan.
I'm off to FaceTime with my family in Wales. That's always a treat because we have so much fun. And then
And I have to
I'm off
open
to a
the
virtual
shop.
wedding.
Oh yeah. Our niece Ileana is getting married today.
Virtually.
So
it might not
well,
actually be wedding.
yeah.
She might not
We'll be
married.
watching virtually.
Yeah.
So yeah. But it's a real wedding.
But the shop is open. Come down. Come and buy your stuff. We've got
Yeah.
lots of great stuff and some beautiful new pins and bags.
From Nerd Bird Makery.
From Nerd Bird Makery. Yeah.
We do.
And you may even get to meet Kelly herself. Well, you will, because she's the only person who works here. You might meet me. Sorry, in advance. Okay. Let's say goodbye. Oh my goodness.
Bye.
Bye.